VNYC, you ain't never seen nothing live like these. Coming in clean, don't adjust your screen. Live in the color, the vibes all covered by us. Take the melanin and make it go public. Do it for the culture, I bet they really love it now. Ask how, we gon' tell you how it is. Our fingertips are on the fashion tip, and we got news when the music spins. And we can help you with some new fitness. Nice poetry will get your mood dismissed. A couple fine art will make your mind spark. Hold up, this the table for the people right now. This the table for who not feeling equal right now. Got the world looking through us like we see through right now. This that camera lens making people see you right now. Yeah, got a shoulder and we never starting over. The temperature's hot and getting colder, gotta hold it down. We the best, better act like you know us now. We too blessed to ever act like you slow us down.
Hey, what's up, and welcome back to VNYC. Of course, it's your girl V.
And your boy 3, of course, and we got some special guests here with us today. We're going to show y'all a lot of love today, a lot of love.
We're so excited. We know y'all missed y'all since last week. We cannot wait to talk to y'all about all the new stuff that's been going on, and not only that, but we also have a special performance. And we're also going to talk about some maybe sensitive things within our communities, but...
I'm okay with a touchy conversation.
I'm okay with it too, to be honest.
The musical guest today is a little bit different, though. It's not what y'all used to. Y'all going to really like this one.
But also, not only that, we're also going to get some tips that might be able to help us in our personal lives as well as with our families, and even maybe some friendships.
Friendships. That's a key word. A lot of people need to work on that. It's been no love in the city lately.
What you trying to say?
Ain't no love in the heart of the city.
What
That's what I'm trying to say. You know
I
what
don't know,
I'm
that
saying?
sounds a little sush.
Listen, people need to love themselves before they try to love other people. That's all I'm trying to say. So we're gonna coach y'all a little bit through that today.
He said it, not me.
Just saying.
That's all I'm saying.
It is what it is.
Either way, we're glad to have y'all back. Just stay tuned real quick. We'll be back in a hot second, and we're going to introduce you to our first guest.
Hello.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, so welcome back. And of course, just like promised, we have our special guest with us. We have Denise from Never Stop Growing Coaching and Consulting. And she is not playing with y'all. She got her foot on y'all necks. And she's going to tell us how she's also transforming lives throughout the time. But first, we're going to start with, what did you do before coaching? Or how did you get into coaching?
So before coaching, I was in social services for like 16 years, child welfare and juvenile justice mainly. And then I landed my consulting job at ACS, which was coaching based. From there, I realized that there was like this real necessary piece missing. And I was able to take what I learned at ACS and transform that into my own thing to bring that to people who really were struggling to feel seen and like accept themselves, especially in the Black and Brown community.
Dope start. Dope start.
It's very deep. I just want to say.
I know, for sure. I think especially
I'm
when
for my
starting in the
people.
city. Like, you started working in the city, you then did your independent work. Like, that's big.
Yeah, it was scary too.
Why do you think it's scary, before we just go a little further?
Yeah, so what was scary about it was that it was I really took a leap of faith on myself. Like, you know, I'm not just encouraging others to believe in themselves. I got to live through it first. So leaving that full-time work where it was like everything was stable and, you know, 2-week pay and you had all that going, to now hustle and grind for yourself, but for a bigger purpose for your people. So I was like, I'm doing this. So I'm out here.
Did you go to ACS first to help like specifically Black children?
Yeah, so I went there, my own story. So like moving around a lot, and ACS was involved at a time. And so then me working at ACS, I really wanted to empower families again, not just safeguard children. That's very important, but I wanted to empower families to be unified.
Children need their family. It takes a village.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
What is recovery season?
Recovery season. So that is just this new thing that came to my mind, and it just felt so strong as the year was coming in. And as I was reflecting on it, I'm like, yeah, we're going back and getting everything that was lost, to like self-doubt, worry and fear, all those things that you sat on or pushed aside and forgot about, recovering it all.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And how do you think healing is different and I think also necessary for Black and brown families?
So the difference, our skin tones, our languages, our just aesthetics, right? That puts us in this separate box. And so struggling through years and years of not feeling beautiful and not feeling seen and not being the standard, right? So you're having to recover from that. And then also dealing with the family lineage and the stories that we suppress and trying to find yourself through that. It makes it all the more challenging. And so really getting us to a place where we see, love, and accept ourselves judgment free to then heal through whatever we need to heal through is important to me. And I put that into the practice.
Wow. I was going to ask you, how do you coach us through that? But you kind of explained it. So, like, for me at least, I've never met someone like you, so I would say you're one of one. But how would somebody else who's, like, struggling with those things find a coach or find a place of that medium?
I mean, while I'm here. So theKeyNSG.com is where you can head. And then also Google is a really big deal. And I would say Google Black coaches within your neighborhood and look for Black certified coaches. I think that what happens now is that coaching gets really focused on, oh, I'm going to help you meet this goal. You want to find a new job? That's that. Transformational coaching is so much deeper, and it can go alongside therapy. It can help you get to therapy, or for those that don't want to take the therapy route, it can help you bring up a lot to help you move through and succeed in life, loving on yourself and accepting all of who you are.
Well, you call yourself the queen of self-worth. Can you tell us more about
that? Yeah, listen, it's a struggle. I definitely won't say that I am finished with my journey. It's going to be a lifelong thing, like hence the name of the practice. But I am committed, and that's what makes me the queen. I am committed to making sure that, listen, I'm at this seat right now, and now I'm thinking 5 steps ahead and 5 seats higher, and so now I'm ready to get that. And when I get that, I'm going to keep going. So I'm committed to this journey.
Wow.
Standing on shit. Y'all heard that?
No, for real. Like, I'm hoping it is. Like, wow. And how do you keep yourself pushing? Like, just doing all this independently?
It's so faith plays a big role in my life, right? I believe in God, and I believe this is a God-driven mission, because no way in the world I would have left my job to do this. So it's a faith-driven mission, and now that I'm seeing the impact that it's having on people that look like me, like, that's so important. I'm talking to teenagers, I'm talking to adults, and just hearing how they're pulling up things that they hid for so long. It's the reason why I keep going.
Wow.
That's amazing. Yeah. The kids need you.
That's true.
No, for real.
My little babies.
They need somebody like you.
Out here running these streets.
There's nobody like you.
There is nobody else like
No,
her.
there's nobody like you. They need you.
And I think that's the important thing about transformative work, because then it not only helps out that direct person, but it helps out other people in their lives. It helps out their children down the line when they have children. It's very, very important work.
Yes. To that point, right? I'm always pushing the whole generational aspect. So especially when I'm working with parents, whatever we're doing together is going to then be used to pass down to their kids. They're teaching it across the board to their friends and family. Then they're passing those lessons on to their children, and their children get to rewrite narratives that held their parents back. So I'm doing generational work out here.
Sounds like you're doing God's work.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, gotta happen some way, right? You a vessel.
And it came out of the Bronx.
Let's talk about it, right? Because a lot of people think that nothing's out here, but obviously.
They think it's a place that you should not come.
Yeah, they do.
In hindsight, clearly this is a place you need to be.
Yeah,
it's true.
Honestly, it's
born,
it's
raised, and bred, still living in the Bronx, and I put that on my back with pride. So no matter where I end up, it's always going to be, listen, Bronx is tatted on me.
Okay, let them know. No, I respect it.
Especially like I meant to say as well, when I was in school, there was nobody like you or anybody that looked like me.
That's true.
Or any of my friends that struggle from things at home, you know what I'm saying, or were separated from their parents. So I will say it's a blessing to have you.
Yeah, it's definitely a good time to be alive, because I completely echo those sentiments. Absolutely. And where can people find you again? One more time, give them the Instagram, websites, emails, give them everything.
Yes, so email me for any questions, inquiries. I have 2 open spots for weekend coaching, individual coaching. So Coach D, that's the letter D, at NSG. excuse me, at theKeyNSG.com. I don't even know my own thing.
It's okay.
The website is also theKeyNSG.com. Instagram is the key, that little underscore line, never stop growing.
Love it.
There we
Love
go.
it.
Thank
And we're actually
you.
going to have you back a little later for this Sesh. So stay with
right.
us. We'll be right back. We're going to have her back as well. Just stay tuned.
All right.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Thanks for hearing me out, bro.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
All right, so welcome back. We have Cito with us, and of course, we have a new guest. We'll give you some information before we get started.
Hello. Very phenomenal guest here we have. Very inspirational. He does a little bit of mentoring. He's going to do a little bit of spoken word for us later. Everybody give it up for Cito.
So, first question, right? Because I do follow the Twitter, the Instagram. You know, we search out people before we bring them on the show. We don't play with this. We always hear about toxic masculinity, right? Very common word, very common phrase in the time. But you actually brought up about healthy masculinity.
Yes.
Right? So talk to us a little bit more about that.
I think the conversation we're having right now on social media and amongst the community creates a space where feminine and the masculine energy seems to be combative. And I don't think that's the goal. I think there's a healthy space for it to coexist. Every yin has a yang. And in that space, I get around men that feel like if they can't necessarily protect or provide, they feel incompetent. And the way that society and life is set up, there's moments where you're good and there's moments where you're not good. Money comes in, money may not come in. Your emotions may be high and may be low. And then we need to reinstill the integrity and character in young men to feel like even if I'm not there financially right now, I still provide a space to be a man. And I think that helps with the anxiety and depression that we're going through right now. So I just think there's healthy ways to talk about that. And I just want to instill that, especially in the youth, but amongst the community.
Oh, yeah.
I was just wondering, is it then presumed that we only think that, we as in women, only think that men provide only financially, or there's not other ways that they do provide? Like, is that the feedback you're receiving? Or
I wouldn't necessarily, it's a women conversation. I think it's a society aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because I think right now we're in the emotional revolution. Emotional intelligence is high. Even spiritual intelligence is high.
Yeah.
And I think, just think about how I grew up. I ain't found out about like zodiac signs till I was probably like 20 something. And I know girls that's like
was just, like,
nine,
middle
that's not,
school,
middle
yeah.
school name. So just from a standpoint of catching up, I talk about it in my work too, but I feel like I went through survival mode till I was like 25. And then once I kind of made it out and like I've lost friends and people are not here no more, and that woman are like, okay, now I need you to learn how to love me. And I'm like, whoa, I'm kind of like,
learn how to learn myself.
yeah, like I'm trying to learn myself, like those, and also releasing the things that helped me get here because they don't serve me no more.
Yeah.
But you also hold on to them because they helped you get here. So I think that's the entire process of trying to figure it out while make money, while try to grow, evolve. So I think it's just a process, and it takes time. It just takes time. That's it. Yeah.
I was going to ask, what does healing look like for black men?
Acknowledging that we need it. I think that's the first step. It's messed up, but it's interesting because like we laugh through our pain so much. Like we don't even acknowledge stuff happens. Like
I think that's the coping in it, though.
yeah, I think, but coping is a survival mode. The fact that we need to find a way we think we don't need to be in survival mode, because even when we up, we still have the mentality of like I don't want to be down instead of not how do I keep on going up. So I think it's acknowledgement. Some of my toughest moments I didn't acknowledge until somebody told me and said this is obvious, or showed me and said, yo, this. Like, you sure you okay? And then,
check
like,
on you.
Yeah, I think I had to check on you. And for me personally, platonic friendships with women, the ones that could sit there and be like, you know, you're not okay.
They
like,
read you.
yeah, like you know what I'm saying, like that. You know, you're not okay, and like, you know what? I know you're saying that from a genuine space because you don't want anything from me, just to see the best version of me, and that helped me a lot.
But for a lot of people, that's not comfortable either, like receiving genuine help, because it feels foreign. It feels like something like, you're offering me help, but what do you want back in return? So like, what do you, if you have any advice, what would you give to those people?
I say trust your gut and find your tribe. Because I went through those moments where I went through people that was kind of like, nah, I feel like you're trying to trauma bond. Or some people try to like, they're like, okay, if I know this about you, then I get a different space to kind of get close to you. And they want to utilize that in their own manner. But it's like the guest was saying before, like God is good. Like when he'll give you the people that you need when you're trying to do the work and find it. I've learned that on my poetry journey. Like at first I was going out, left the block, all the bros like I'm a slide, they never slid. I just kept on going to shows. Now I have a great tribe of people I hit the road with because people, when they see you doing the work, genuine people want to help you with the work.
That's real.
So that's my best advice.
I do think trauma bond is like, I think the term is a little bit funny, but I do think it's sad and it's very real. Like you could say like, oh, I got robbed, and somebody would say the same thing. And it's also like in a weird space, kind of putting bad energy on yourself. So if you do kind of try to trauma bond with somebody, or if you're lying to try to trauma bond with somebody, it's really not cool. Like it's really not accepted. Just putting that out there.
You know, we talked about this a little bit before, but I feel like we're in a time where like we have all the knowledge, all the tools, all the resources, but we're also choosing not to necessarily also use them like all the time, because we have all the words now. We know what toxic is, we know what harmful relationships are, we know domestic violence, we know all these things, we just don't.
You don't resource for them.
No, we make songs and laugh about it and tell our jokes. But once again, I think that goes back to how we deal with situations a lot of times.
But it's tough because comedy is like a common denominator for a lot of things. And even growing up, like it's always a joke. But I think it's moments that like I had to learn how to have tough conversations without getting emotional or result into physical altercations. And that's something I had to learn in the workplace, but also in relationships.
Yeah.
Like when you growing up and like somebody talks to you crazy, naturally you go to a space and it's like, hold on, I don't want to be that person anymore. So two things are gonna happen. Either we're gonna have this conversation in a respectable manner, or I'm gonna leave. Because, and let you know, I'm not gonna reward bad behavior.
That's real.
Instead of resorting back to somebody that I know that I can't be in society anymore. So, yeah, so it's tough. It's tough, especially, I'm not gonna lie, there's days you wake up like, who you talking to? You know? But you gotta catch yourself and be like, all right, ego, you know you can do that. Can you step back and just have a very valid conversation? Look somebody in the face and say, you know what? I don't like how you're talking to me. Either I'm gonna let you rephrase how you say that, if you could continue this conversation, we're gonna do this another day. Cause like my piece is too valuable. And I'm learning that now.
That's growth.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah. Shout out to the peacekeepers. Why say we are working on ourselves, and are we really? Why do people say that?
To me, I feel like it's cap. I think a lot of it's cap. I'll be honest. I think.
I respect that.
But one thing I would say is the acknowledgement is the first step, and nobody knows how long it takes to actually do it.
Yeah.
I tell my friends all the time, we spent more years being a child than I have been an adult. Because I'm, 32 now, so technically it started at 18. So I like 14 years as an adult, 18 years being a child. And I grew up in a Caribbean household, so you're a child, you're really somebody's property. Like, you know
That's like your child.
They got branding on you.
Yeah, like you somebody's property. So there's moments and times where I just realize that like, it's going to take time to unpack and realize certain things while trying to figure life out. Yeah. Because it's difficult to heal when you can't pay a certain bill. You know, or you feel like you're incompetent for this, or there's something that's bigger than that moment in the sense of life. Like you have to be in a space to even acknowledge that you need healing, and that can be expensive, figuratively, literally, and spiritually sometimes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you don't have a healthy environment to even heal or grow, how can you? And I think people spend a lot of time trying to create that environment before they get stopped, then start again. It's like it's like cleaning your room. If you clean your space, your mind gets kind of clean too.
Yeah. It's not like you're cleaning your inside room,
exactly.
your personal room.
Exactly, 100%. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, just stay with us. We're going to have a quick performance and a break, and we'll be right back.
It's your boy Cito Blanko, and this is a spoken word called Mirror. On the pursuit of enlightenment, so I get the point. But you think that you get to point every time that I miss the point. I don't think you understand how my Father anoints. No matter how many times I slide, He still give me the power to run the point.
through the wire. But just because I'm blessed doesn't mean I won't trip up on that currency and lay over in the outlets of my uncertainties, while I'm hearing whispers of who I was supposed to be. Survivor's guilt on one shoulder, and damn homie in high school on another. I found my soul for me, but I got that degree from my mother. Exhaling, releasing the thoughts that stop me from exhaling. Tick tock, tick tock. It's giving 30 minutes to 7. You don't know what my sanity is, cause I'm no longer indicating through my high ways. So I put down the keys to the Hellcat that's blackish. Put the white picket fence in my rear view. I'm tired of honking in traffic. Bronx education has to go back and dot my I's and cross my T's. I'm not trying to be stuck between two lines, cause that ain't it. I don't know why I'm screaming for. You can already feel my soul's discrepancies. I'm pointing right to the ambition that's left in me. Quoting Mike Jack while I brush my teeth. Talking to the eye that's looking at me. Mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me what you saw. From the soulless moments to the I'm so appalled. Strip that ego and show me them flaws. Not about what I see, it's about what you see. I see pride, I see power, I see a badass mother who don't take no crap off of nobody. And that's how that goes, you know what I'm saying? Cito Blanko, never miss a free throw. We outside.
Hey, it's your boy 3. Welcome back. We now have Denise and Cito joining us. We're gonna have a real black love conversation this time.
We're gonna start out with something real simple, right? Sharing locations. It's very popular online. It's very just popular in general. But is it cute or is it crazy? What y'all think? Honestly, we only respect honesty here. And we're after hours, so you could curse and do anything else.
All right, so here's the deal. I'm not comfortable with sharing location. I'm real private, and I'm always sketchy, kind of like, what you want my location for, what you gonna do with it. I like my privacy. I like roaming free, but I also see the benefits in it for some. So for me, it's a no, but for others, do you?
Yeah, I agree with that. For others, do you? The concept of sharing location in general, yes. We live in a wild world.
Yeah.
When I understand, like, I know sisters that got all their sisters' location, their mom location, things of that sort. Cool. Relationship-wise, me personally, that's a no for me. But I understand, like, what works for you works for you. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just my take on it in that aspect. But I get it, too, because I'm always late. So certain, like, people like, no, I don't know your location. I want to know, like, if you a real 30 or you are, like, an hour and 10. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just be more honest with my stuff, my ETA. But I'm not a shared location person. Yeah, no.
So if you met someone and they were like, Cito, I love you. Oh my God, I want to be with you, right? And said, but we got to share locations. And you felt the same about her. You liked her too. You wanted to be with her too. But she said, we got to share locations. Is it a deal breaker or is it something that you'd consider?
I think you can put in the middle of a pie chart. You can see what's up, you know. we can see like what the, because relationships about give and take.
Yeah,
in certain aspects, it's really about give and take. And also depends on like the circumstances. It's like, are we in the same city? Are we talking about moving in together, living together, things of that sort? I understand that.
Complicated.
But, no, yes, I'm saying to me it's a conversation. Mm-hmm. But I think if we're gonna get to a space where she says she loves me already, that conversation probably would have brought up before we got to love. Mm-hmm. So I think it wouldn't be there'd have been an initial conversation already. Yeah. But to each his own. To each his own. To each his own.
What about you, Denise? Would it be another conversation?
It would be a conversation. Like he said, I think that would have been had before we even got to the place of love. Mm-hmm. If it's brought back up again, then that tells me that it's really important to the person. So I'm willing to listen, and we see where we meet.
100%. And get to the root of it too.
Yes.
Because I want to really about. Because I don't know what, like, it's not about the sharing location part. Mm-hmm. Is it a trust thing? Is it a loyalty thing?
Is it a control thing?
Yes. Is it an abandonment issue thing? Like, what is the source of it? Because the source of it is simple and it's just I just want your location, okay. But 9 times out of 10, We peel back the layers.
Background.
There's something
There's
there.
something there that we didn't really deal with. So I'll help you. Let's deal with this before I share the location. And if you still need it after, then that's a different conversation.
And what I will say about both of you too is that you both mentioned having conversations. I think conversations about serious, important matters.
Yeah.
And I don't think that always happens in like the beginning in dating. It's not very common to ask all those heavy, hard-hitting questions. People just kind of fold into it sometimes. You ease them in.
Oh, I sure do. So you brought up abandonment issues, right? And we have like the attachment styles. So I'm not gonna come straight out and be like, you know what it is, let's take this assessment. But I love just kind of working in questions just casually to get a feel. And the deeper we go, the more we start talking about it. So things like sharing location starts to come out in its own organic way.
I like that. Conversations, y'all.
No, I do. Yeah, I respect the organic way. Like, I don't even think there's really a way to be like, hey, where you gonna be? Drop the pin. Like, you know, like I think that's
I
kind of.
also just don't know why the information, and it gets very, and I think it is maybe like a person by person thing because it gets very complicated.
I imagine also like if I get to a point in a relationship where I'm sharing my location, I would imagine like we live together or something like that, or like we driving to work together, something like that. If it's like you live in like 5 boroughs, just like iffy. Like,
That's what I'm saying. I think sometimes there's an underlining like
might be going to my mama's house. Like, you can't know my mama live outside. I really fuck with you like that. Like, not for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? You never know. All it takes is for you to go pick up a cake or something, screenshot. Damn, I know where your mama live. Like,
100%.
That's rough.
That is crazy.
We have about like a minute left. What's one last question you want to ask him in a sesh before we get out of here?
Where do we as Black and brown men and women, what should we do rather to bring each other up instead of tearing each other down?
Why don't you take that one first?
I'll say listen and comprehend. A lot of conversations we have, if you ask everybody once you leave the conversation, what did you get from it? Everybody has a different point of view or perspective towards it. Because I wouldn't even say have the conversation, because we're having the conversation, but I don't think we're all comprehending how each other genuinely feels. Because if you start to understand how both genuinely feels, then I think we'll take the actions to help or do our part to mend whatever's broken in it.
Give us a motive.
Yeah.
And I'll just throw in, remove the judgment and ask questions. It goes hand in hand with that.
That's a big part about removing the judgment.
I think that's a huge part, actually.
I think it's huge. And I really, really appreciate everything of what you both have shared with us today. I think it was very, very impactful. And I also think it's time that we have more of these discussions as well.
Sure.
Before we end everything off, I just want to give you all both the opportunity to plug all your stuff, anything new coming out, Instagrams, websites, all that good stuff. Just one last time so they can find you.
They need y'all for real.
Yes.
TheKeyNSG.com. I have my Goal Achievers Alliance, which is for anyone seeking to achieve any kind of personal development goals. And I'm talking about dig deep. This is a group where we're going to be working together. You doing your own independent thing, but then you got support. And I also have 2 available weekend slots for individual coaching. So check me out, TheKeyNSG.com.
Cito Blanko on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Got shows coming up, new book coming, projects coming on Apple Music and Spotify and the streaming platforms. I'm a CITO BLANKO, and tap in. Got a show in Philly on the 6th, Houston. I'm gonna see you on the 12th.
Ow.
And we outside.
That boy booked and busy.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, guys.
We really appreciate it. And see y'all next week.
Go VNYC, you ain't never seen nothing live like these. Coming in clean, don't adjust your screen. Live in the color, the vibes all covered by us. Take the melanin and make it go public. Do it for the culture, I bet they really love it now. Ask how, we gon' tell you how it is. Our fingertips are on the fashion tip. And we got news when the music spins. And we can help you with some new fitness. Nice poetry will get your mood dismissed.